All right, so today's message is Happy Father's Day. Don't abandon your post. A lot of times in life, there's times that, we as fathers are supposed to, take care of our children or anything like that. And, depending on the relationship with the parent, their mother, we abandon our post. You're still not supposed to abandon your post, even if the relationship with you and your children's mother is not good. So that's why I don't even use the term baby mama. I don't like that term, baby father or anything. That's why I say children's mother. You can both be great parents and not be together. One thing I learned is looking at it as being, what's best for the child. If you both decide that you guys are not going to be together, the one thing you want to do is parent your children well. And that's one thing I've learned and understood that God showed me that allows the children to have a better relationship, with their parents, knowing that, we're not always arguing or we have a cordial relationship. Ephesians 6:4, fathers, do not provoke your children to anger by the way you treat them. Rather, bring them up with the discipline and instruction that comes from the Lord. Genesis 18:19, for I have chosen him. So this is a good point that we look at, and we say, well, why would I have a child by this person? I remember, back in my earlier years and growing up, and being able to mature, I was like, why did I have a child by my children's mother? But, God was still showing me that, you're supposed to show God's love towards her regardless of the situation. So that's something that I had to learn and mature myself, and that's why I can be able to teach others. So again, it's Genesis 18:19. For I have chosen him so that they may command his children and his household after him to keep the way of the Lord by doing righteousness and justice, so that the Lord may bring upon Abraham what has spoken about him. So God has already chosen who the parents are supposed to be. Deuteronomy 6:7. Again, don't leave your post. You shall teach diligently to your sons, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk along the road, and when you lie down, when you rise up. 1 Corinthians 13:12. Now we see but a dim reflection as in the mirror, then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. So when we look in the mirror, we can look at ourselves, and there's always something that we can continue to work on and continue to be the father that you're supposed to be. Verse 13. And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. So I know there are some fathers out there that may have abandoned their post due to the relationship with their mother. They won't let you see their children. They won't let you see your own children or anything, or you're going through a lot of drama or whatever the case may be. But you still want to continue showing God's love. Just continue saying, listen, can I see my children? If you don't, pray about it and ask God to continue, showing God's love. I remember it took me like 2 years, before the relationship got to a wonderful point for our children, and I did it out of love for my children, to give them best. And why? Proverbs 3:27. Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due when it is in your power to act. Galatians 6:10. Therefore, as we have the opportunity, let us do good to everyone, especially to those, the family of faith. So definitely want to say Happy Father's Day to everybody out there. Even if you don't have children and you're uncle and you're helping take care of children or anything like that, just wanted to say Happy Father's Day. I know there are some men out there that don't have children that are godparents. So I definitely want to say that as well too, and continue to try to work out this relationship. And also too, if there are women out there that are seeing this, I just say that you should try to be able to come to a cordial relationship with your children's father. It's what's best for the children. That's definitely one thing I've learned, even growing up and having friends, and seeing that they said all that their parents fought and argued, and when they broke up, and you hear both of the parents say, "Oh, it's not you." That's the child doesn't see that. The child sees exactly, if they were never there, parents probably wouldn't even be having this decision or anything. So, and one thing I looked at too, I watched the NBA Finals, and in Game 6 they talked about J.R. Smith and his daughter. I think she's about 8, or I don't know how old she's around that age, and they had asked her about, how do you feel seeing your father in the finals? And you know what she said? She said, I'm proud of my dad because he didn't get kicked out the game. And that's one thing to let your fathers know, that even if these children are little, that's one thing that they pay attention to. So he laughed and chuckled and everything like that. but obviously, you know, his daughter looks up to him, and that was important for her to see that her dad has matured or carried himself. So that's why I try to live my life the way it does, to be an example for my children. And therefore, you know, when my daughters, they look for somebody, you know, they can look for somebody like myself in the man that will, you know, take their hand in marriage one day, you know, somebody that will show them or anything like that. I see you laughing, but it's okay. But again, I mean, that's how we know that, you know, they pay attention to what we say, and that's why I'm careful with what I say and everything. And again, no, I'm not perfect, but again, you know, I strive to be, and, you know, I continue to lead by an example. You know, I can't sit here and tell my kids to do something if I'm not going by the right way. So I just wanted to give y'all encouragement and just say happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, and just continue to, you know, pray and do the right thing, and God will show up in your relationship, even if it's just between your children's mother and y'all are not together. God bless. Y'all got anything to say?
Yeah.
Happy Father's Day. You're the real MVP.
And those that go out there and say Happy Father's Day to the mothers, that's not what God wants you to do. Do the right thing. Don't do the wrong. Thank you.
All right, we out. Holla.